It's a dance break with no music. Facebook Live was down today, so I'm doing a video instead. And I wanted to share a little bit about what I call my goddess story. There's a lot of maybe you have goddess cards. Maybe you've seen them. Maybe you've seen goddess lingo flying around. What does that mean? You've seen my pop goddess dance class, perhaps, right? There's a lot of this goddess resurgence going on, which I think is pretty awesome. And I have to admit that when I decided to go in this direction with one of my dance offerings and call it Pop Goddess Dance, which, by the way, is when we're looking at ancient goddess archetypes and channeling them through pop music and the pop star likenesses that represent those energies and those archetypes. When I first decided to go in this direction, I was really resistant to it. I was like, there's too much of that going on. I was like, I don't know, is everyone going to like it, right? Like the people-pleasing part of me wanting everyone to like it. I know not everybody's going to like it. It's okay. But it felt deeply important to me when I really checked in. And I wanted to give you a little bit of background on why that is. So I'm going to rewind back to 2007 when I had first moved to New York City. I didn't first move in 2007. I moved in 2001. In 2007, I had moved to a new apartment. I was in a big transition. I had just left a job, was starting my new career as a holistic health coach, and I was feeling quite lonely. It wasn't like college where you could feel like there was this community. If I'm honest, at NYU, I also was kind of lonely too. I had one friend, Ariana. If you're watching this, you know who you are. But I was, in any case, at this point in my life, I was like, I want friends. I want other women to just connect to. And that wasn't happening until one day I was in the elevator of my apartment and this woman comes in and she comments on my laundry basket and we start chatting and la 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 la. And long story short, we became best friends. And to this day, she's still one of my dearest best friends. Aliza, if you're watching this, I love you. And it created this thing for me where there was someone who I could talk to, who got it, who was there, and I wanted to create more of that. So I decided to start a meetup group. I don't know about you, but when I want to create more of something, I start a group about it. And I called it the New York City Goddesses. And I was thinking like, okay, this is it's a fun name. It evokes this like woman energy kind of stuff. And I started doing it. One person showed up, two people showed up. It wasn't like as thriving as I had hoped it would be. And then I got a phone call or an email from East West Bookstore, which has since closed. It was like a spiritual bookstore on Fifth Avenue. And they were like, we want to host your meetup group in our cafe. And I said, really? Why? And they said, well, we're getting a lot of requests. A lot of people want to learn more about goddess energy and feminine spirituality. And we think your group is a great match. Meanwhile, my intention wasn't to talk about goddess religion, so to speak, or spirituality. It was more of just a name that I came up with to describe women coming together. But I was like, sure, I'll do it. Because I was also, I reminded me, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of interested in that. I want to, and we teach what we most need to learn. So I started leading these groups once a month, and 12, 15, 20 women were showing up all of a sudden. And here I was each time learning about a new goddess and just sharing what I learned and creating conversation and having each woman go around and share, what that brought up for her and what was happening in her life. And it became this really beautiful group and beautiful connection. And it taught me a lot. And from those days forward, I continued to learn more about, ancient goddess archetypes and feminine versions of spirituality. And even now I have a group of women here in Brooklyn who we call ourselves the goddesses, and we meet on the equinoxes and the solstices and we connect. And so what started out as kind of like a random invitation / mistake almost became this deep part of my life. And it also years later, back in 2014, when I created my dance show, Swan Canal, this goddess thing came into play because I was playing this ballerina character who's like in this super uptight world where she's wearing a tutu and she has to act a certain way and do certain things and she doesn't want to. And she falls asleep backstage. And in her dreams, she wakes up to this Lady Gaga song called Venus, which is the goddess Aphrodite, in other words. And these goddesses come out and they're like teaching her how to be a woman. And there's this whole thing that happens. And I won't go into it. Maybe you've seen the videos. But so, you know, the goddess thing was coming up. So when I thought earlier this year about the direction for You Can Dance Again, my company and my classes and what I want to do, I was like, what if I did a goddess theme? You know, back when I was doing that show, it was such an empowering process for the women who were in it to each be assigned a different goddess archetype and learn about that archetype and have that energy channel through the creation of their character, and how interesting it was that whatever archetype they chose really related to their life at the time. And so that's what I decided to do. That's how Pop Goddess Dance was born. I was like, what if I more intentionally create a program where we look at a different archetype each week and we learn about the themes and the energies that archetype evokes, and then channel that through dance. And so that's basically how we're doing it today. And it's kind of cool because 2007, when I started that goddess meetup group, was, if we're in 2016, that was 9 years ago. So for 9 years, this interest of mine, this part of my spirituality, of my life, that I've been, you know, just studying on my own and practicing, is now being infused into something else that I'm super passionate about, which is my dancing and my dance teaching. And it's been really awesome because women are really responding to this, and it's been so great. And if you're curious, by the way, popgoddessdance.com, if you want to come check it out, there's an online video intro class that you can download when you go to that site if you're curious and you want to check it out. So what do you guys think? Like, what's your goddess story? Does this whole goddess theme resonate with you? Does it turn you off? What experience or non-experience do you have with it? I would really love to hear. Share in the comments below if you're inspired. And come join me. Check out that video if you do want to learn more about the Pop Goddess Dance program. If dance and modern day pop music excites you. In my mind, the reason why it's Pop Goddess Dance and not just Goddess Dance is because the pop part evokes that free and fun and lightheartedness. I mean, we go to deep places too, and we look at themes and you know, deeper emotions and things going on in our lives and transitions that we're in and how to work through those. And we really go to those deep places, and it also doesn't have to feel so heavy all the time. You know, like there's this lightness and the release of dance and being able to just get in your body and be in that sacred space where you can move freely and you can express yourself. I mean, that is healing in action. It's so powerful. So yeah, I could talk about this all day, but the video is getting kind of long, so I'll pause there. I'll wait to hear from you. Share in the comments. Tell me more, like, what do you think about all this? And come join me at popgoddessdance.com if you want to connect more about it. All right, talk to you soon. Go take a dance break.